Alright, what is going on, everyone? I hope you guys are all doing well. Hope you guys enjoyed your weekend and are prepared for this week ahead. Now, as you guys can see, there is a few stuff on my on my watch list as of right now. I'm looking at the euro pound, the Australian dollar against the yen, the euro against the dollar, and pound against the dollar. So we're going to get started off with the euro pound. I'm currently looking at some buys of this very nice sell to buy candle here on the hourly. So what I'm anticipating is for price to continue his move over to the downside. Okay, I'm expecting price to continue to move lower, taking out all of this liquidity resting at these lows, and I'm going to get in for some buys off of this sell to buy candle. I'm going to get in aggressively, and I'll be targeting all of this buy side liquidity right over here. I'm anticipating for it to take out the high and set even higher highs, so I will be looking to get an aggressive off of this area of demand right over there for about a 13 pip stop loss and a and a 70, almost a 70 pip take profit for a nice 125. Okay, very clean setup. Price also took out this trend line liquidity as it swept that structure, which was the point where market shifted its sentiment, and order flow went from bearish to bullish. Well, to be fair, it was already fairly bullish from this point onwards, but yeah, we had that shift over here. Price took out the major high too, so we're expecting a pullback to fill in the rest of the fair value and truly mitigate into this sell to buy. So I'll be looking to get an aggressive off of this point. Very similar setup here on the Australian dollar against the yen, but it's off of the 4 hour. As you guys can see, we also got that sell to buy candle, but we're just going to look at the 2 hour anyway. The zone can be refined down to this 2 hour right over here. As you guys can see, very similar setup too. Price took out this liquidity right over here, mitigated into this area of supply that we have, of demand that we have right over here. So we had that sweep, mitigation, and then that shift in structure. Price took out that structural high that formed that low. Therefore, we're anticipating for a shift in direction. So I'm also anticipating here is for price to come down lower, take out the Asian lows, fill in the rest of this fair value, and truly mitigate into the zone where we can get in for some longs into some higher levels, potentially even targeting the last structure over here. Anticipating for price to take out any liquidity resting at these highs at this point here. Alright, this is a setup that I could be also getting in aggressive of, depending on the time that price does mitigate into this zone. But as you guys already know, if it mitigates during the London or the New York, I'll be looking to get an aggressive for a potential 127. Next, we got the euro dollar. We got a clean setup over here, which can be refined back to this point. As you guys can see, we had some areas of liquidity which price had swept. It didn't truly mitigate into this extreme, but it did react off the entire structure anyway, so you can say it has mitigated that price range. So what I'm anticipating for price to do now is, once it has, well, it has already taken out the low, therefore sorry, this would be the change of character. It had already taken out this low. Now if we shift to the lower time frame, what I anticipate for price to do, as you guys can see, it didn't truly mitigate this area. So I would say this is a point that price would induce, and what we can expect for price to do is can pull back, take out that structure, truly mitigate into this point, and we'll get in at some sells from that area into some lower levels, potentially even targeting the last low from that price range. This is very similar for the pound against the dollar too, or we can call it the cable. Price took out any liquidity resting at this structure over here. We also had some form of trend line liquidity, as you guys can see, from this point down into this point. Okay, price took out all of that liquidity, spiked it, and it shifted back down into some lower levels, broke the low. That was our change in sentiment right over here. Okay, so what we can anticipate for price to do is it comes back up, takes out any liquidity resting at this high over here, induce it, and then we get the mitigation into this point where we can get in for an entry down into some lower levels. Okay, not sure the connection on my laptop keyboard's lost, but yeah, we can look to potentially even target some lower levels over here. All right, so that's all I have on my current watch list. The first two pairs, the euro pound, I'm looking to get an aggressive, and the Australian dollar against the yen, looking to get aggressive. As for EU and GU, it's more of a confirmation entry. Even though this is a setup that I would get taken aggressive, it's just this zone is way too fat for me to get in. Risk to reward will not be worth it, so I'll be waiting for further confirmation at these price points. All right, so that's all I have on my current watch list. I will be keeping an eye out for a few other pairs, just waiting for them to play out and give clear direction. But anyways, I'll update you guys into the mentals chart section once the setups have aligned. All right, guys, let's get ready for the week ahead, and I wish you all the best. Take care.